All right, and we're live here. Vogelzang.
Hey, man.
Great to see you.
Good to be here with you, Greg. Good to see you.
We're here at the podcast New Media Expo
Nice.
in Ontario.
Yep.
It's pretty cool, huh?
It's great. It's third year for us.
Have you been here all 3 years?
We have. We came out the first year and, started to meet everybody, and, some real friendships have developed. And I think that's the beauty in this. You start to share the stuff, and maybe it sounds a little bit, kind of schmarmy or something, but I don't know. We really have developed this wonderful collection of friends that we stay in touch with via email. We see here, we follow their success, and that's good.
This is like the homecoming.
Yeah, it's great.
And you've got one of the coolest titles I've ever heard. At Porter Novelli, you work for Porter Novelli, the global powerhouse PR firm, VP of Persuasive Technology.
Right.
That is just
so it's one of those, kind of only in Washington, D.C. titles, you get these overinflated, whatever, but it's an interesting position because so much of what, kind of traditional PR has been, rooted in has been kind of this outreach on a kind of a handshake, and
sure.
I know the byline guy from the Post, and now it's much more effective to target and let that target work for you.
Right.
And that technology is out there, and it's still can be very persuasive. So when clients hear that title, they always ask, so I can launch right into my spiel, so it works.
So this has been an interesting couple days here. I'm not going to be able to make it through the third day Sunday, but I mean, a pretty good vibe here. A lot of interesting thought leadership going on. You and I and Matt Snodgrass.
I thought it was great.
Cool session yesterday.
That was great. I thought that was great.
Was it New Media Metrics, Judging Success, whatever?
Yeah.
Pretty big crowd.
I was really impressed.
We had a bunch of good questions. A lot of people really drilling into it. And
I think so.
of course, you bring a wealth of experience to the table, especially in general, but also at the session yesterday, because your experience with MomniCast.
Right.
And you guys are one of the few that really from the beginning set out to do it as a business, run a business. Of course, and you were blessed, of course, Gretchen and the crew, and you got the lawyer, you got the PR firm, it's just like a blessing, So tell us a little bit about, how that's going, maybe some of the quick roots of it, and sort of where you guys are going.
Yeah, well, it has been this really interesting kind of thing. None of us ever expected that it would do what it's doing. And we have had some unbelievable, experiences along the way. Paige and Gretchen got to interview Morgan Freeman when March of the Penguins came out, and we did a show around March of the Penguins.
Wow.
Some really cool things. And so they got to travel. They were the first podcast. Paige and Gretchen were the first podcasters to conduct an interview. Actually, it was the very first interview ever to take place in the Disneyland theme park, in the Disneyland Park in Anaheim, in Walt Disney's old apartment, which is right there on Main Street.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Michael and I did the first
exactly.
Disney podcast. It was like, there's the apartment that Walt used to live in.
Yeah. So
they were in it.
So they actually got to go in it with the Disney historian. And so it has been this wild ride for us. And I think that's kind of what, just to kind of get back to this whole kind of community thing here.
Sure.
That's why we like coming back, because we've learned some things along the way. We want to share those things. And I think one of the things that we learned early on was that treating it like a business was really valuable. You and I have talked a little bit about some email outreach. We buy Google AdWords every single month. We have a press list that we send to regularly. We have an opt-in, permission-based, email list that we try to do some outreach to periodically, and so we've combined all of those things with an understanding of what a sponsor might want in terms of, an audience, and we learned early what the value of that audience. Moms are busy, so the acquisition costs of going out and getting a mom to sit down, pay attention, and then retain something was valuable enough that sponsors came along.
Yep.
And so...
Well, you provided a lot of good things, like, we talked yesterday, obviously, paying attention to the audience, providing the quality content, surveying the audience, understanding, what they were thinking, what their relationship was to the podcast, to the content, and then, of course, going out and soliciting Dixie. And then what I find even more interesting about that is that not only has Dixie shared an incredible relationship with MomniCast, but you, as the producers, have been able to turn around and show Dixie the value that they've been getting as the key sponsor for Mommy Cast,
and
I think that's huge.
Yes.
You know,
right. The interesting thing has really been that Dixie understands that this is a sponsorship,
right?
But that they're getting a lot more than just, here's money, do this,
right?
We get emails all the time, and those emails are about our relationship with Dixie. We hear from moms who are concerned about the environment. They're concerned about a paper products company and the footprint that it leaves. And they're asking those kind of questions, and we share that with Dixie. And so Dixie's able to say, hey, what is it that we need to do better in order to communicate our message? Because Dixie is a subsidiary of Georgia Pacific,
right?
And Georgia Pacific is a forestry. As a forest paper products company, has an actual forestry management plan in place, and so Dixie was very interested in talking about that forestry management plan, and MommyCast brought in a guest expert of kind of their own, and it turned into really kind of a nice debate about the subject, and we got lots of email that we then again shared with Dixie about that, and I think what Dixie has found is that the show has become beyond a sponsor in a real-time form of data collection.
Absolutely. No, it's been a great dialogue.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Two-way, and it's going all around. So you guys, I know we did a session yesterday at the Podango booth. And so talk to us about what's coming up, what's on deck now, what you guys are just launching.
Yeah. So some cool things are happening for MommyCast. We have partnered with Podango to offer a family channel, a collection of shows that are all kind of, family-themed. A design show, a show on technology for moms and kids.
Cool.
Yeah, a clothing show, a show about books for children, and then an interesting kind of storytelling program as well as several others. And so it's all kind of come together, known now as the Family Channel, powered by Podango at MommyCast and Friends. And we announced that yesterday. Yeah, so we're trying to do the audience aggregation thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Podango's a great partner.
They've been great. They've been excellent for us, and we've had great conversations with them. They're doing, great things to promote this for us, and we want to do our share to promote it as well.
Good. Well, Paul, it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Good to talk.
Yeah, it's great to finally meet you out here in person.
I know
I've heard your name a million times, and obviously Matt and the crew at Porter and Novelli speak highly of you. So it's been great to share your experiences, and it was great doing that panel with you guys.
Yeah, you did a great job. I mean, organizing that whole thing was big work, and it came together.
Yeah,
so,
it was really good.
Yeah, and as you say, I was really impressed with the number. I think people are focused on this metrics thing. So
it
was
good to have what I like to classify as an Uber example of someone who's really doing it right. So thanks again.
Hey, thanks, Ray.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Tim,
all right.